Thanks so much for stopping by. My name's Austin. This is Gundam Customs. Today we're taking a look at the DBToys 1/12 Ultimate Netman Black version. This is a interpretation of the Symbiote suit from the Ultimate Spider-Man comics from the 2000s. Art by Mark Bagley, writer Brian Michael Bendis. This is for all intents and purposes, color swap of or re-deco, I guess, of the red and blue suit. A lot of it has similarities, but there's also a few differences, and we're going to talk about them. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into it. Looking at the box, it's the same as we see with the red and blue variant. Nothing on the bottom, nothing on the top. Put all of the legal information on the back. Again, really like this kind of bookend style. One thing that I forgot to mention with the red and blue suit is it has a nice little fold out that really makes it a little bit more premium, feels a little bit more like a hot toy. You know, you can look at it inside, especially if you're an inbox collector, it's going to be really good. Also, looks like they're probably hinting at some future releases, like you got the Waldos for the Iron Spider. I think that's Kane's symbol there. I think that might be the Insomniac Spider-Man. So pretty exciting. Hopefully we'll see more from this company. I really like what they've put out so far. Definitely some things they can work on, but that's what we're here to talk about. Real quick, just if you want to see it side by side, this is how the other box looks. I will be throwing it away pretty quick after this video, but wanted to hold on to it for the comparison. Really like how those look together. I think it's kind of cool. Great options for inbox collectors. Nice that they thought about it. So we will go ahead and get into the aesthetics. All right. So now looking at the figure up close, we have much simpler design. Obviously, that's kind of how the black suit has to look if you're going to do it right. The material is very different. I was expecting them to kind of use the same material, but looks like they, in an attempt to make it more reflective, a little bit more almost sticky, like, which does match what it looks like in the comic. They used, I want to say, kind of like a polyurethane type fabric. I'm not even sure if that's a type of fabric, but it just, I will say it gives the figure a little bit more tacky of a feel. Not tacky in the way of cheap, like physically tacky. Not a huge fan, but at the same time, I think it does give a very good effect. When you look at it, it's reflective. It has that purple sheen without being overwhelmingly purple. I think it really does capture that likeness. One thing that I did kind of notice, a little bit of missing white paint. It kind of goes a little bit too far over and misses the actual sculpted line. I'm going to say from far away, it's not really that noticeable, especially when you don't point it out. But it's a little bit disappointing. This figure was $80 from Toys Metaverse minus shipping. I'm sure it's more with shipping, but um, for that price point, you kind of want to see maybe a little bit more quality control. But the rest of the figure does look very good. The bunching is a little bit more noticeable, I think, with this guy, just because of the type of fabric and just how tight this is on this figure. It's much more, in my opinion, tight to the actual posable body underneath. But it really does sell that idea of it being uh, an alien on the figure. So like that, same stitching on the back that I'm not a huge fan of, but I will say it is much better hidden on this. It pooches out a little bit, but especially once you get it into a pose, it's going to look great. Really like the difference in the back spider versus the front. Very similar in design, but you can tell it's just bigger on the back, which I think makes sense. You've got more real estate to work with. You're not worrying as much about crunching forward and breaking up the whatever that printing is. I will say I'm a little bit afraid of, you see that dot there. I hope it doesn't develop into anything more. There's some rippling there. I'm not as confident that this figure is going to hold together, which I'm not even sure if the red and blue suit is going to hold together. So this is going to be another time will tell situation. But overall, aesthetics, really like this guy. The soft goods work for this. The lankiness works, I think, for the Ultimate Spider-Man look. Still not a fan of the full boot, but this one again is not impeding the articulation. It really doesn't feel like it holds well. He has the same difficulty standing, I would say, but it's still solid, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in articulation. But yeah, that's it for the aesthetics. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the accessories. Getting into the accessories now, we're going to see a lot of reuse between the red and blue suit and this black suit. I'm not really opposed to that. I think it's the same character, just different color schemes, so you don't really have to reinvent the wheel. We are lacking in some areas, though, that I think would be preferable to have, but we'll get into it. First thing that is identical between versions is this absolutely terrible spider sense effect part. I've gotten a little bit more sour on it as I've messed around with it more. This one even came out of the box bent, so it doesn't fit when it already didn't really fit on the original. Really disappointed with this. Hope that they will implement it in a different way that might actually sell the effect a little bit better. But overall, I really wish that we'd gone with a different accessory and used this plastic a little bit differently. Going on to the hands, we're working with five sets of hands, and then an additional seventh hand that is by its lonesome. Not really sure why it's by itself. We'll go ahead and just cover that one now. We have this kind of looks like the beginning of a web slinging hand, which I don't know if maybe this is from a certain comic panel or something that I may have missed. I might have to go back through this arc. It was a very short arc, anyways, so it'd probably be pretty easy to find. But if y'all know of where it's from, please let me know in the comments. I'm very curious. I like the overall sculpting of it. I'm not really sure how much I'm going to use it, but overall, happy with the design. Kind of an odd addition. Next, we have the accessory holding hand. This one, it's a fist. It has a hole in it. You can't even see the hole with this because it's all black. It actually doesn't go all the way through, which is a little bit disappointing. But it'll get the job done. It's going to hold on to the bendy wire webs, which I do like overall. Wish it was a different sculpt. I talked about this all with the red and blue suit, but if you're going to include multiple sets of hands, I think it's kind of a cop out to not include a new sculpt. It's almost just you've done the same thing, but you just put a hole in it, and at that point, you might as well have just had the original fist hands having a hole. Next, the same kind of expressive, gesturing, angsty hand. It's a perfect accessory. It works really well, especially with this black suit version of Peter. I think really captures the look from the comics. Very happy with it overall. Maybe you could have sculpted it differently, but I don't know. I think it looks good. I think it works, and it's like I said, it's still the same guy. So you get a full set of those. Next, you get a full set of the magnetic wall crawling hands. These look good. Same exact sculpt, same exact issues. Really, really dumb implementation. Hopefully, we'll see something different from this company if they continue to do the magnetic adhesion option. It just doesn't work at all. It's no different on this guy. It does not work. So, really like the sculpt. Really don't like the magnets, but still pretty happy with it overall. Works for wall crawling. Then we get open palms, which look very, very similar to the wall crawling hands, but they are different. They don't have a magnet. I actually do really like these. Again, I think it captures the overall look of this version of Peter. He seems to have done this kind of gesture for some reason. It's triggering something in my brain from that comic run. So yeah, really like these. I'll definitely be displaying the figure with them from time to time for different poses. It could also be used as like kind of a thwip because the black suit doesn't need the actual thwip hand. But I mean, that's really up to you if you want to do fists, if you want to do even that kind of weird singular hand, you can go for that, and that'll look good too. But yeah, overall, these hands look really good. Look very similar to what we've seen before. Now we get let's go ahead and get it out of the way. Two bendy wire effect web parts. I have since twisted one into the other on my red and blue suit to give it that spaghetti webbing effect. It works really well. I really like it. These are exactly the same. They're just kind of coated in a black finish. I will say something worth noting on these is this. I don't know if it'll pick up in my camera, but the black does not stay stuck on all the ends. Some of the ends it does, some of them it doesn't. That's a bummer. Gives me some concern that at some point these are just going to turn into silver reflective metal bendy wire. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I probably won't be using the figure very much with those, especially because we got these. You get, well, actually, I didn't count them. You get 6 different tendril effect parts. These guys are very, very cool. They have the little pockets for, kind of air holes for the bendable wire inside. This is a much thicker wire, much more solid. And I know it's much thicker and much more solid because where is it at? Oh, you know what? I might have grabbed one that actually has it hidden. I was looking through these, and they all kind of had the same. I was going to call them choice, but now I'm thinking maybe it's an actual issue. Here we go. Sorry, I should probably cut that, but I'm not gonna. I don't know if it really is going to be visible. Calm down, camera. Good lord. It. You see that metal post sticking out? That is the bending wire. I mean, it's a good wire. It allows it to bend really well, and I don't think you're going to really be able to notice it. Apparently, it's not on all of them, so I think it is kind of an error. Hopefully, my only concern is that it starts slipping out or causes some kind of problems, because overall, these tendrils are really, really, really cool. I like them a lot. I think that they almost look like the Shattered Dimensions kind of style, which is another thing that I think of this character from. So, big fan of that. Opens up a lot of posing opportunities. As far as I can tell, they're really just supposed to stick around the character. Um, there's no there's no magnet in them. There's no magnet in the figure. So I think you're just kind of supposed to wrap them around. There's no peg hole. So uh, overall, really happy with these. I would say overall on accessories, um, not ecstatic, not really blown away by what they've come to the table with. I think there's some good choices and some bad choices, but you just saw all of them, so you can make the decision for yourself if you like it, if you think it's worth it. For me personally, I think it's worth it, but I also might just be coping and trying to justify my expensive purchase. So now that we're done with the accessories, we will go ahead and move on to the articulation segment, and we'll go back to talking about the figure. All right. So for articulation, we're working with a double ball peg at the top of the head. I took it off. It did not want to come off. I will not be taking it off again. I did it because I wanted to see if the heads were interchangeable, and I guess they technically are, but it's a little bit too stiff for my liking, so it'll be staying on my copy. Up, we get just that one. Engages about that high, not very much. Down, really good. Then you get the ball peg at the base of the neck, engaged all the way down. Very angsty, very sad. The saddest man you've ever seen. Really good. I mean, not as good as it is on the red and blue suit, but I mean, that's still good. You're going to get a pretty decent flying pose if you have your Spider-Man flying, or maybe a leaping pose would be more accurate. But I think that's probably a little bit less than the red and blue suit, but not the end of the world. I'm not disappointed by that. I think that's going to be enough for me to be able to get some posing out of it. Now, to the shoulder, we get, oof, really high. Really, really good. Like that a lot. It's a great range of motion. Going forward, up. Ooh, the suit starts to fight you a lot quicker. Because this is so sticky, because it's so tight to the body, it does fight you more. Not really a big issue for me. I think that's okay. Going back, it's much less willing to work with you. Okay, yeah. So going back, you're actually limited to a little bit. I'd say that's about 90, and you could probably futz with it a little bit more, get it to work with you, cooperate, but it's about far back as you're getting it. Then you got your bicep swivel, impeded by the costume again, but that's probably as much as you're going to want to get out of it. I don't think that's a problem. Onto the elbow. This is exactly the same as the red and blue. Not good enough. I'd like to see a little bit deeper of a bend out of this company with future releases. Hopefully they can do that. Maybe it is just the bunching up of the costume, but I mean, I can feel the resistance is coming more from the actual joint itself. So I feel like there's probably a little bit better implementation that hopefully they can find something that works for that. So then we get down here, pull the costume up if it'll work with. Oh, actually, man, this is really on there. Yeah, this suit is much tighter. I can't get it up. Um, but we are working with the same. Man, it will not work with me on there. Okay, we're working with the same import style joint. It'll do whatever you want it to depending on how you angle it. You can get it into swivel, hinge, side to side, front and back. Whatever you need it to do, it's going to do it. So that's about the same for both sides. Yeah, I'm going to say the articulation's about the same. Going down to the chest, you got same double ball peg situation. Crunches forward to there. If you're not using it, if you're giving him bad posture like a teenager, pretty good. Back. Ooh, really good. Can definitely do some bullet dodging. That looks good. Again, you're not breaking up the sculpt because you've got that soft goods. It works really well. Probably the biggest benefit to a soft goods figure. So that works. I like that a lot. I think that's good posing. Down to the crotch. We've got not feeling good about these splits with this tighter costume. It, oh man. Yeah, don't get this guy if you're planning on putting him in a Van Damme pose, because wow. He can kick out that far. I mean, the joint itself is not giving you any trouble, but with this stretch stickier spandex or whatever it is not willing to cooperate. It fights you on it. The joints overall though do feel really good. I'd honestly say they might even feel better. They're less clicky, or not clicky, but you know what I mean, than the red and blue was. So happy with that. He kicks forward. Huh? Yeah, yeah, that's good. He kicks forward good. Oh yeah. Oh, that's plenty. Better than we get from a lot of mass market figures. Like that a lot. The stitch work is probably a little bit better, probably because you're not color matching, so it hides a little bit better on this guy. I don't want to take points away from the red and blue because the black is just a little bit easier to do. Um, you have thigh rotation there. It's happening at this ball peg right here. There's no thigh cut in a traditional sense, but you get full range. I mean, yeah, that's about as much as you're going to want from a thigh cut. Back, ooh, not too bad. Not too bad. The butt gets in the way just like the red and blue suit, but yeah, looks good. Works well. So I'd say we've seen better crotches in our day, but this is definitely getting the job done. This crotch serves its purpose. So down to all right. Enough talking about Spider-Man's crotch. Onto the knee. We go that first joint goes there, and then second joint engages real well. Again, you're bunching up there. This joint could definitely go further, but it's just not willing to with the stretchy spandex over it. So again, though, that's still good. I mean, that's plenty. You know, you're not needing to get much further than that, I don't think. But something to keep in mind with this figure. The bunching up is a little bit ugly, but you know, it's just part of messing with soft goods. So if we try and unbunch it from the ankle there, we get the normal front to back, side to side. I think it's probably the exact same kind of import style as the wrists, but yeah, you get plenty of range, front facing pin for rocker, all that good stuff. I really like this. Again, you get that as though it has toticulation, but it really doesn't. These guys are exactly the same, so I'm not sure that they have been given a toe joint. Either they do and the stitching is just too tight, the fabric won't allow for it, or they preemptively put that cut there and then the actual body doesn't have toe articulation. So a little bit of a disappointment there, but not really for me personally because I don't really do toe articulation. But yeah, overall on this guy, the posing I would say is really good. I think it could maybe be improved, but I don't want to get too greedy when it comes to soft goods. I mean, they did really well for this figure, but yeah, some things to look at as they move on. So that wraps up the articulation, and now let's get into some comparisons. For comparisons, first up, look at the imports. This is the CT Toys bootleg version of the black suit from Mafex, so that's why he's a little bit shorter. For an actual size comparison, this is the Mafex 185 Spider-Man. So this is how it's going to stack up if you wanted to get the legit black suit. But if you have CT Toys, just be, keep in mind they scale shorter, but they are great figures. I mean, I definitely recommend them if the only option is getting it from a scalper or a used vendor. Might as well go with CT Toys. You're not hurting anybody, in my opinion. um, Questionable legality or whatever aside, they make some great products, and I'm really happy with this black suit, and I'm happy with the scaling as well for these guys. So moving on to the next one, we've got, dipping into Marvel Legends now, we have the Kraven's Last Hunt 2-pack Black Suit Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Retro Card Black Suit Spider-Man. So these two, I think, kind of prove that DB Toys seems to be going for a Marvel Legends scale, maybe treading the line between Marvel Legends and import or Mafex scale. I think these work really well. The Retro Spidey body buck, I think, encapsulates a more middle-aged 35-year-old Peter, and then the Pizza Spidey is a more McFarlane, younger Peter Parker. I think 15-year-old Ultimate Peter being shorter than both of them but closer in line with the Pizza Spidey buck works really well. I think that's probably what they're going for, in my opinion. But yeah, overall, these guys scale, and you really see the purple in the Ultimate Spider-Man costume when you put it up against these blacks. It's not coming out perfectly on camera because of how subtle it is, but I think the subtlety really works, and we're actually going to get into it with a comparison that we're going to look at in a little bit. This is the Amazing Fantasy 15 Body Buck, the Secret Wars Anniversary Spider-Man. These guys scale really well. Unsurprisingly, the red and blue suit scaled perfectly with the Amazing Fantasy 15 Spider-Man, so it just makes sense. I think this is once again just proof of how well he scales with Marvel Legends. They're both their younger years. I'm not a huge fan of this figure from Marvel Legends overall. I really like the design. I don't think of Peter being this size when he's wearing the black suit, but that's just me. Anyways, overall, the look, the aesthetic, they work really well. Love the difference in all of these different black suit logos. It's such a simple design, but the artist always has their own take on it, and I really like seeing that contrast. So next, for our final Marvel Legend, we have the Amazon 5-pack Ultimate Spider-Man. This is built off of the Ultimate Spider-Man buck, unsurprisingly. It's his black suit variant. I think they did a lot better with capturing the artwork in this than they did in the actual Ultimate Spider-Man design, but this is super purple. I think it works. I'm happy to have it in my collection. Overpriced as I'll get out. I got it second hand because I didn't want to get the entire 5-pack, but really good. It's a little bit too purple, and maybe that's just because I'm looking at the DB Toys and I've been looking at it for so long. But the big thing that sets them apart is the logo and the eyes. The eyes are perfect for what we see from Bagley's art on the DB Toys, and it's a little bit more stylized, a little bit more Marvel Legends-y on the left, on the Marvel Legends figure. And then I really do like the way that the logo is done, but this is just, I mean, it's dead on, and this is a little bit more stylized. So, pick your poison. They're both really good figures. I think height on this guy is he's a little bit, I don't know. See, now I'm getting into this Goldilocks thing where it's like, oh, well, he's too short. But I do think he might be a little bit too short. I think that DB Toys really nailed it with the proportions on this guy. Next, we've got my last review, the Mafex Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. These guys scale really well together. Another Mafex release. Toby's on the shorter end, but works pretty good. Really like this guy. The more time I've spent with him, the happier I am. And to be honest, I was real happy just getting him out of the box. So the glazing from Mafex is not going to stop on my end. I have seen some shoulder modifications. I might go ahead and try that with this one, and if I do, he'll show back up in another size comparison in the future, and I'll talk about how that went, see if that's something worth doing. But next we've got my other soft goods Spider-Man, the DBToys 1/12 Ultimate Netman red and blue suit, and the Mezco 60s era Spider-Man. Again, these guys scale really well. Obviously, these two are going to scale perfectly. Same body buck, but man, they just look so good together. I mean, it just nails that comic book look. I'm so happy with having both of them. In my opinion, they were absolutely worth the money. I'm desperately hoping that the soft goods holds up. I'm not confident, but I'm just over the moon with how they look. And if the soft goods don't hold up, I'm going to be distraught because I think all in all, they look perfect, absolutely worth the money. So that is what I have for comparisons, and next we'll wrap it up. Wrapping up my review on the DBToys 6-inch Studio Ultimate Netman Black version. I've been misnaming them this entire time. I finally looked it up and confirmed that I'm completely wrong. Anyways, my thoughts on this guy, largely the same as the red and blue suit. If you're interested in my review, it's on the channel, obviously. But, you know, no split cut boots. The stitching on the back is a little bit unfortunate. Obviously hidden a lot better with a black costume. Some new gripes with this figure did come out. I would say if you're going to get one or the other and you don't have a strong leaning towards either design, go with the red and blue. It has a stronger set of accessories, and I think overall the costume hinders the posing a lot less. This guy has some really cool accessories like the tendril effect parts. The hands look good. I will say though, I don't like the implementation of a lot of the different things that they did. You know, the spider sense doesn't work on this. The magnets don't work. The web holding accessory or the web holding hand is not a different sculpt. It's just fists with holes in them. The new part that was included, the tendrils, are really cool. Really like these tendrils, but they don't. I tried to do a pose with them for this outro, and it just didn't work. They did not cooperate with me, and I'm not sure if it could be user error. You know, I'm not a professional or anything, but I struggled with them so much that I decided, you know what, I'm not even going to worry about using them. And to me, that's a barrier to entry that's not really necessary, right? I mean, we want this stuff to be intuitive. We want it to make sense out of the package, and for me, I can't find a way to get them to attach to the figure, not even in the way that they show it on the promo images. I think you have to attach them to themselves in some way using some kind of glue or tape or something. Overall, really happy with these two figures together. Really glad that I got both of them. I do think that some things could be implemented better, but I got both of them for $80 from Toys Metaverse. They may be available elsewhere, but I was really happy with my experience with Toys Metaverse. I don't use them for anything else, but I probably will be using them in the future because it was a very smooth process. The pre-order was great, and they shipped it out quick and in good shape. You know, I don't think they did anything that caused any issues. I think it was the packaging that kind of warped the spider sense effect and all that. So yeah, I think both of these are great. All in all, go with the red and blue if you're only going to go with one. But if you really like this black suit, I mean, it does exactly what it says on the box. It looks like the 2000s 15-year-old Peter Parker Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, it does its job. So those are my thoughts. Agree, disagree, feel free to comment below. I'm interested to hear what you guys who have bought the figure think, or what do you think just from looking at it? Are you going to pick this up, or are you going to skip? I promise I'm not going to upload exclusively Spider-Man content. I do have some other stuff I'm planning on doing, but these were just the newest arrivals that I've gotten. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe. All right, have a good one.